2023 started with terrible news, the fatal air crash in Nepal. In the moments before Nepal's deadliest air crash in decades, four friends from India were on board, began excitedly recording the descent on a Facebook Live video. They were heading to Pokhara for the trip of a lifetime, visiting temples and paragliding in Nepal's famed Annapurna mountain range. It's really fun. One of the men can be heard on the video surveying the city below as the plane began its descent. The friends can be heard laughing and joking as the camera is turned on. A smiling Sonu Jaiswal, a 29-year-old father of three who ran a small business back home in India. All appear calm in the plane with no emergency announcement or warnings from the pilot or staff. But suddenly the plane appears to veer off with a loud roar, and the sounds of it crashing to the ground are captured on the phone camera before the screen is filled with flames. The burning debris of the aircraft is momentarily visible on the screen before it goes black. No voices can be heard after that. The harrowing video indicates that the 68 passengers and the 4 staff on board the Etihad Airlines flight had no idea the plane was in danger before an explosion just as it was landing. Etihad Airlines Flight 691 was a scheduled domestic passenger flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara in Nepal. On 15 January 2023, the aircraft operating the route, an Etihad 72 flown by Etihad Airlines, crashed while landing at Pokhara. It was carrying 72 people with 68 passengers, including 15 foreign nationals and the 4 crew. So there were no survivors. It is Nepal's deadliest air crash since 1992 and the deadliest involving an Etihad 72. The flight took off from Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport at 10:33 a.m. Nepal Standard Time. It crashed on the banks of the Sethi Gandaki River while on short final prior to landing. A video taken shortly before the crash showed the aircraft banking steeply to the left before crashing. The crash occurred between the old Pokhara Airport and the new Pokhara International Airport, which had opened just 2 weeks earlier and where the aircraft was attempting to land. The accident resulted in the deaths of all 72 people on board and was Nepal's worst air crash since the crash of Pakistan International Airlines Flight 268 in 1992. It was the third deadliest air crash in the nation's history. According to an official at the Pokhara International Airport, air traffic control cleared the flight to land on the runway 30, but the captain requested runway 12. The Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal spokesperson said the weather was clear, according to the preliminary information. The cause of the crash is the technical issue of the plane. A spokesman for the airline said the plane had been supposed to land at the newly inaugurated Pokhara International Airport, which was built with a soft loan of about $216 million from China. It was nearly there before it crash-landed in a gorge near Sethi River. It was Nepal's worst aviation disaster since 1992, when 167 people died on board a Pakistan International Airlines flight that crashed on approach to Kathmandu. Last May, a Tara Air flight carrying 22 people crashed into the Himalaya mountain at an altitude of about 14,500 feet. That was country's 19th plane crash in 10 years and its 10th fatal one during the same period, according to the Aviation Safety Network database. The fire and the thick smoke, as well as the treacherous terrain, made the rescue efforts by police and the army officers extremely challenging. Soldiers used ropes and stretchers to retrieve bodies from the 300-meter deep ravine late into the night on Sunday. We have so far sent 63 bodies to the hospital, said the police officer A.K. Chetri on Monday. So the recent aircraft involved in the crash was a 15-year-old twin-engine turboprop ATR 72-500 with serial number 754 and the registration 9ANC. It was the first delivered to the Kingfisher airline as VTKAJ in 2007. In 2013, it was transferred to the Nokia as HSDRD before being delivered to Eti Airline in 2019. There were 68 passengers, 4 Nepali crew members on board. The passengers comprised 53 Nepalese, 5 Indians, 4 Russians, 2 South Koreans, 1 Argentine, 1 Australian, 1 French, and 1 Irish. Among the passengers were 37 men, 25 women, 6 children, 3 of whom were infants. To date, 68 bodies have been recovered. There were no survivors. The plane was under the control of the command of Senior Captain Kamal Kesi with Anju Khatiwada as co-pilot. Khatiwada was set to qualify as the captain upon the successful completions of the flight. The airport was closed as authorities launched a rescue operations. The government of Nepal summoned an emergency meeting of the third Dahal cabinet following the air crash. The Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, stated that he was deeply saddened by the sad and tragic accident. The government of Nepal has commissioned a 5-member team to investigate the crash. Indian Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia offered condolences. Eti Airlines cancelled all regular flights scheduled for 16 January in mourning for the victims of the crash. Later that day, the aircraft's flight recorders were recovered. We must not blame the pilots, as Nepali pilots seem to be the most skillful in the planet. After all, they dealt with the airports such as Lukla, which gained worldwide fame as it was rated the most dangerous airport in the world for more than 20 years by a program titled The Most Extreme Airports, the broadcast on History Channel in 2010. Nepal's air industry has boomed in recent years, carrying goods and people between hard-to-reach areas as well as the foreign trekkers and climbers. But it has also been plagued by poor safety to insufficient training and maintenance. According to the Aviation Safety Database, there have been at least 27 fatal plane crashes in Nepal over the past 30 years. In May 2022, all 22 people on board a plane operated by Nepali carrier Tara Air died when it crashed. And in March 2018, 51 people died when a US Bangla airline plane crashed near Kathmandu. The European Union has banned all Nepal Airlines from its airspace over safety concerns. I personally can testify to the stories, the risk-prone carriers ferrying passengers in the sky. Many years ago, when I was traveling frequently between India and Nepal, sometimes through the Bhairawa airport, a municipality, the administrative headquarters of Rupandehi district in the Lumbini province of Nepal, 260 kilometers west of Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. When I inquired about my arrival of the aircraft, I was told that if it would come in another 4 hours, I would be the lucky Jim. The aircraft arrived much delayed. It was announced as it would be in an old bus station in a nondescript Indian mofussil. The security in the aircraft was slack and I was checked in without a metal detector scanning me, as if entering into a magician's parlor through a dark curtain. I was then carried in a battered jalopy with a horde of jaded passengers to reach the aircraft and waited for another 1 hour as the flying machine was filled with aviation turbine fuel. The aircraft's door was not locking and it took off over the Himalaya, and the flight attendant standing next to the door ensured the door did not burst open and all passengers on board emptied into the valley deep down. It was a harrowing experience and I survived that flight. Poor visibility, rapidly changing weather conditions above mountainous terrain, and aging fleets are among the hazards of flying in Nepal. Hope the story doesn't repeat and the human lives are not wasted due to this fault line.